That's the signal that the video is about to start. If you've come wanting to hear about how to use videoing yourself for personal development, that's great because that's what I intend to talk about. This is my meditation gong, and I associate that sound with paying attention, with centering myself and getting ready to meditate. Hopefully this got your attention and perhaps had the same effect on you. I'm going to play with that. We'll see how it goes. In terms of future videos, maybe I'll incorporate it. Before I talk about the topic, though, my name is Michael Dewan-Herrick. I'm the creator of the online store called Bazaar, for which you can find a description and a link below. Please come and visit the store and check it out. And hopefully you'll find something that can support your own personal development. This topic really came to me from personal experience. I hadn't really thought about it before, but my journey of making videos for YouTube started with knowing that it would be a good idea. I thought this would be a way to get my work out as a therapist and a coach to more people, and it could be a possible way to promote my online store, Bazaar. But I really didn't want to do it. I never felt comfortable in front of a camera, and so I resisted it for a long time. But I decided I needed to jump through the hoop and get it started. So I started with a commitment to one video a day for a week. And it didn't need to be more than 5 minutes long. And I didn't give myself any particular agenda for what I would talk about. Just talk. Just be in front of a camera and talk for 5 minutes or so. So I got through my first week. I wasn't particularly impressed with what I produced, but I did do it. And so I recommitted to another week and did that. And I started to feel more comfortable by the end of the second week and decided to just carry on. So I continued and probably made up to just about 70 videos on whatever was on my mind on that particular day. And that was my start for getting ready to make YouTube videos and learning how to actually make a video that you can put on YouTube entailed a whole other learning curve, which I won't get into. But this was my own personal foray into making videos. I'm not somebody who puts my own videos on social media, so it was a new thing for me. At one point, my wife noticed, I told her, and she was noticing how much time I was spending making videos, watching videos, and thinking about it. And she asked me, do you find you get lost in yourself doing that? And I thought it was a good question. I actually thought about it. Am I getting lost in myself? Am I somehow becoming egomaniacal? Am I feeding some kind of narcissistic place in myself by doing these things? And as I thought about it, and what actually my experience has been, it's the opposite. I find that making the videos and watching them allows me to get outside of myself and not actually be as lost in myself because I have an additional perspective to reflect on. This led me to thinking, my goodness, perhaps this could be a tool. Maybe this is something I could do or others could do to get that additional perspective on oneself. And that's where the idea of doing this video came from. I anticipate in the future I'd like to do some more videos about doing self-videoing. I think there are many different ways to approach it, and I'm only going to offer one exercise in this video. So stay tuned. I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to give you an actual practice that you can do. I'm going to start by exploring a little bit more this basic function that it can serve of getting outside of ourselves and getting a perspective on ourselves. Usually, we just are living in our own skin. We're looking out through our own eyes. we're not seeing ourselves from the outside. Other people do. Other people can give us feedback, and that's very, very helpful. It's necessary, but it doesn't allow us to look at ourselves. And the kinds of things that we can't see is our face. We can't see our facial expressions. We're probably not so aware of our body posture, our bodily movements, other subtle signals that we give off physically. We can't really see that. We can only receive feedback from others about that. By videoing ourselves, we get outside of ourselves in terms of space. But we also get outside of ourselves in terms of time, meaning that we're not observing ourselves in real time. We can watch it later, right? Watch something that we did earlier so that we can really focus on what we're seeing and not be in the process of communicating while we're observing. You might be somebody who's very comfortable with videoing yourself. Perhaps you've done it a lot. Perhaps you post on social media and you're used to it. You know how to take selfies and take videos of yourself, and you're comfortable with it. Many of us are not. I wasn't. I'm getting more comfortable with it. And the prospect of recording ourselves and then viewing it can mean we're going to anticipate a cascade of self-criticism. We're going to see things about ourselves we don't want to see. We're going to be in harsh judgment of ourselves. The way we appear, the way we sound, our general demeanor, we can be hard on ourselves in that way. And expect that if we do it, we're going to wind up in a puddle of shame. Well, maybe that's exactly the reason we need to do it, if that's the way we feel. Maybe it's time to confront that and do something about it, because even though you may not video yourself and submit yourself to that kind of self-criticism, it's there. So this is one of the first things that we can overcome by videoing ourselves and watching it. Particularly if we begin to watch it with more kindness and curiosity. And if you're somebody who's comfortable making videos, I would ask you this. Do you make these videos to show the world a certain side of yourself? Do you perform? Is that what your videos are about, a performance? Sometimes people do that. And what I'm suggesting is not about a performance. It's about you. It's about being who you are as fully as you can be while you're communicating, whatever that is. So even those of you who are comfortable videoing yourself, this may be an additional challenge in that regard. So maybe you're thinking, sounds like a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm going to think about that. What I'd like to say to you is, don't just think about it. Do it. Do it. Follow what I'm going to share with you as an exercise, and just do it. Don't just think about it. Take that leap, and I guarantee you're going to learn something. You may make yourself cringe. I did. I still do sometimes. I may watch this video after I'm done recording it and cringe a bit. But you'll learn to deal with that cringe. It doesn't have to be overwhelming or a showstopper. Okay, so here's my proposal for what you can do. Find a private place to record yourself where you won't have any interruptions or distractions. Set up the camera so whether it's your phone or your iPad or a camera, so that you don't have to hold it. So you're not doing this. So that your upper body is free in case you want to make gestures, and you're just not distracted by holding the phone or the camera. You can stand or sit. I would suggest that you make at least your upper body and your arms very visible, and that you just before you turn on the camera, become present. Just take stock of how you feel in your body, look around the room, get a sense of the space around you, and just get centered and grounded and ready to talk. This first video is just for you. It's not for anybody else's eyes or ears. You can share it if you want, but if you can just keep it to yourself, and so you're not trying to impress anybody. If there are silences and gaps, or you forget what you were talking about and you stumble, that's part of the video. Just leave it there and take a moment and resume talking when you know what you want to say next. I would suggest that you make it at least 5 minutes long, but you can make it as long as you'd like. I think 5 minutes allows enough time to explore whatever it is you're talking about. And here's the thing. It's not a rehearsed or a scripted kind of thing. You'll just be talking as spontaneously as possible. And there's three, you could choose any topic. I'm going to suggest 3 possibilities that you could go with. You could go with whatever's immediately on your mind. You just extemporaneously talk about whatever's on your mind. That's one thing. Another thing you could talk about, depending on what part of your day you're in, you could talk about how your day is going, whether it's going well or not going well, and how you're feeling about it. The third possible topic that you could talk about is something or someone that you love and why. And it just, again, don't think a whole lot about this, or very much at all, before you start talking. Just let it be spontaneous, whatever you happen to think about. You can take the time to get centered and present and reflect a little bit, but don't rehearse. And then when you're done, obviously, stop the camera, and I suggest that you leave that space and go do something, maybe for a half hour, and then come back and watch what you've recorded. And I'm going to suggest that you watch it a couple times at least. The first time, just watch it and notice what you think. Notice what you feel. If you are embarrassed by it, or you're proud of it, or you wonder what other people would think of you, just notice that. Just notice whatever comes up. If you're particularly critical of your appearance, or the sound of your voice, or the way you're using language, or the way your body is, notice that you're doing that. Notice you're having those thoughts and those feelings. If you feel good about it, if you think you came across in a way that you'd like to come across, notice that. The first viewing is just to notice what it's like to observe yourself. And observe as many things as you can. Observe your voice, its volume, its tone, how expressive you are. Notice your face, your eyes, your facial expressions. Notice your gestures, how you move your body. Just notice. Just notice. When you're done, take another break. Go away and come back later, half hour or more. Just take a break and then come back. This time, watch it with more kindness, with a feeling of kindness toward yourself and some curiosity of the things that you observed the first time and now you're watching a second time. Be curious. What do you think you were feeling at different moments of the video? Was there something that you thought of saying but you held back and you didn't say it? Why was that? Was there a way that you felt in your body that by watching it you can become more aware of it than perhaps you were while you were doing it? So it's to watch it not just to notice whatever reactions happen, but to notice it with some sense of inquiry. Like, who is that? Who is that? Who am I? What am I feeling? What am I on about? You know, as if you were watching, almost like you're watching somebody else, but it's you. And you're really trying to sense what was going on when you were doing that video. This might be enough. That might be where you want to go with this in terms of reflecting on it. But you might come back and watch it a third time and think to yourself, what is it that I would like to change? And when I say that, I don't mean what can I do to change to make it a better performance so that I look better on camera. It's more, what could I do to be more true to myself, to be more connected to what I was saying, to have more of a sense of the feeling behind my words and the focus on what I'm trying to communicate. What could you do better to more fully be yourself? If there is something that you come up with, whether it's speaking louder, whether it's speaking clearer, whether it's having more fluctuation and variation in your voice tone, whether it's being more embodied, whatever you come up with, you can make a note of that and take that into your life for non-video recording moments, just in your everyday interactions with other people. How might you bring what you learn to that arena? And this is what I've done, actually, and I've found that it's been useful for me in my day-to-day life. It's also been useful for me both as a psychotherapist and a coach to have a little more crisp sense of what I look like, how I come across to others, because I can see it myself and I can begin to work on that a bit. And while I'm still learning how to make these YouTube videos, and my intention, my aspiration isn't to get really polished, but my intention is to be as clear and as focused as I can be and as authentic as I can be. And that actually takes an effort. It doesn't just come from opening my mouth and blabbing. I need to get a feedback loop so I can see how I'm coming across. And I have found this useful for myself. The other thing you can do is make another video. You can see if you can make a video in which the things that you think would put you more in the center of yourself and would be a way for you to communicate from that core authentically. Make another video and see if you can do that. See if you recognize yourself being authentic. If you're like me, and I think we're all alike in some ways, you'll probably discover some things you're not happy about. Some ways that you see yourself coming across that don't please you and you'd like to improve. I think that's great. I think what also, and this is what else happened to me besides that, which is a little extra self-acceptance, a little more tolerance for seeing myself be foolish or stupid, and not having it be too devastating, having a sense of humor about it. That's what I'd also encourage, is that you have a sense of humor and a sense of playfulness about this. It's just you looking at you, trying to be the best you can be, and it's just one more tool. So I encourage you, I invite you to actually give this a go. Set up your camera, set up your space, and talk. And I'll be making some more videos. I don't know how many I'll need to do, but I think there's some other approaches to this, other ways to do it that could be useful. So stay tuned for that. I do believe that if you do this, you'll learn something, and it could be valuable for your own personal development. If you've liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for future videos. And as usual, I will write up a brief synopsis on this video and make a link for it below so that you can refer to it in case you'd like that, in case that's useful. But I'm trying to keep this a little shorter than my usual video, so I'm going to sign off now. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for staying to the end. I hope to see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.